Greetings and salutations, everyone. My name is Featherhoof.
And I'm CarnagePanda.
And we are back once again for more anime talk for fall 2018. Our second episode bonanza. Episodes of the Two-ness happened today. And what a batch of episodes they were.
The second week usually is the best week because we start getting all the openings and endings that never appeared in the first week because reasons. Like some shows show openings and others don't, and some show them at the end, and
some show openings at the end for some reason.
And some shows continue into the next season and get new openings and endings, and
they do.
Some really disappoint a Featherhoof over here.
Mm-hmm.
And if they disappoint him enough, he will get sent to the human ranch.
I don't want to go. Anyways, so it was one of those weeks where I don't think we can rank it this week.
Do you remember what I said at the beginning of summer 2018?
I don't remember what you said 20 minutes ago, so probably not.
Something about, I'm looking at the shows for fall and it looks like they all suck, and we should do it this season because it's probably going to be better. And there's this part where I was completely wrong.
Oh yeah, that part. Yeah, that was a good part. I liked that part. That I totally didn't forget and now was reminded of, but I totally remembered.
Someday you'll be able to live down choosing Angels of Death.
Right, yeah, that was totally my decision. Uh-huh. Anyway, so once again, we're going to be back. We're just going to rattle them off alphabetically. Go about what we liked, what we didn't like, and yeah. So with that, we're just going to go ahead and move right along into the first anime. So the first anime we're going to talk about today is the ever-fantastic Banana Fish. Continuing in from last season, which is still fucking fantastic, although it did get its new opening and endings this week.
So Featherhoof, can you tell us how you feel about the new opening? I'm very concerned. You might need to get medical attention for that.
I'm sorry, I've never heard a more generic, crappy song in my life.
Yeah, so we did look up this band before they even aired this opening, or I guess if it passes for an opening.
It's something. I don't know. It's
they're like they must turn out the most generic songs all the time because that's what we heard. And then we had our fears, and then our fears were confirmed.
Yeah, they were. It's like getting excited for a new Tales game. And, you know, one of the things about a Tales game is like, ooh, what's the opening intro like? And watching it and going, was ass. You know, which has happened.
Or you could have a completely amazing opening, and then the game lets you down.
Yeah, that could happen too. Which has also happened in the Tales series. So, yeah. Hysteria. Excuse me, I'm sorry, something came up there. But, yes, Banana Fish continues the saga. This officially is the beginning of the fall season right here. This episode, this is the fallout of Arthur and Ash's fantastic knife fight. Where everyone's in jail. Everyone's in fucking jail or in the hospital.
So these officers are like in the morgue, or whatever, with all the dead bodies of the guys that Ash killed, and they comment, "This is not humanly possible."
No normal human could do this.
No normal human. This statement of this normal human comes up multiple times, but I guess they're some commentary on Ash's aimbot from the last episode, because all he could ever do was headshots, and you know what? He even gets a headshot in this episode.
Oh yeah, he does. Jesus Christ.
Even though, you know, he's like, he just had like surgery because Arthur
Which
stabbed
he shouldn't
him.
have survived. You know, no normal human could have survived.
Well, he had a 50% chance of surviving it, which
Means that he has 100%.
he had a 100% chance because he's the main character, and so he's like, he got stabbed in the blah blah blah. I don't know what the medical term they used was because it's a medical term, and you have to study for many years and just, you know, get that ingrained into your brain just from staring at the paper 20 hours a day without it. But
so the episode doesn't really do much for a while. It's a lot of, you know, everyone sort of hanging out in the hospital and commenting about how Ash is superhuman. And Max Lobo and eBay, you know, show up, and it's just it's a menagerie of all the characters. They just show up at the hospital.
Who was the new guy that had the unique name this episode? Oh my god! I laughed out loud when I saw that because it was just.
Oh no! It wasn't the new guy. It
course.
was the new guy. It was the leader of the Black Sabbaths, Kane.
Yeah, it was Kane something. But
it was another one of those things.
It was in the same vein as Max Lobo, Ash Lynx.
Yes. God, because let's see what happens. Yut Lung shows up at the prison and springs Sing and Eiji. Which I love when Eiji gets out the door with Sing and he sees Yut Lung in the fucking limo. He's like, "Oh shit, no! Fuck no!" And then suddenly there's dudes behind him and grab him. It's like, suddenly dudes.
Yeah, like put in another car or something, though.
Yeah.
Because Sing goes with Yut Lung, and he starts talking about stuff, and I distinctly remember Yut Lung saying, "The next time you see me, you're probably going to be killing me."
To Ash.
No, he said that to Sing.
Ash. No, to Ash. That was to Ash.
I reject your reality and substitute my own.
Well, I take your substitution and remove it for reality.
No, well, whatever. I expected them to fight here, but they just go on a car ride.
They do. So, Eiji is now, what would you call it, kidnapped again by Yut Lung.
He has great luck.
Oh, I know, really? So Eiji is, you know, being held. There's a weird scene where Yut Lung is walking with Sing down the hallway, and a dude walks out, like, sort of like, do you remember the way Griffin looked when he sort of walked around? You know, he was like vacant stare, drooling. He had that kind of look, but he was still able to move around for some reason. And Yut Lung sort of like said, "Oh, big brother, you shouldn't be walking around," you know, and Sing's like, "Wait, that's such and such, the head of the Chinese mafia." Is like, "Yes, he's very ill." It's like
very ill. So you kind of get the feeling here that he was probably banana fished, but
well, especially because what Yut Lung says next, he says to Sing, he's like, "You hated him too, didn't you?" "Well, I really hated him."
Yeah, so
and it's like
it's just like implied. He doesnn't come out, but
yeah, it doesn't
his
say
brother
it.
is just drooling all over the place.
Yeah, he doesn't say the words, but I think we can with a certain degree of accuracy be able to say that he was probably banana fished. And Yut Lung has this weird sort of interaction with Eiji where it's just sort of like, whereas everyone sort of like has this thing for Eiji, you know, like Ash really has a thing for Eiji, and Ash's gang's like, "Oh, you're like our little brother, you know, oh, you're such a, you know, cute little guy." Yut Lung hates the dude. Like, he has this burning hatred for Eiji for some reason.
Yut Lung is just that guy who is just fucking weird no matter how you slice it.
Yeah. I mean, he just comes out and says it to Eiji. He's just like, there's the, you know, the two types of people. The people who, you know, want to be with you and be around you, and the people who just really hate you. I'm in that second group. It's like there's such a thing as, what did he call it? There was some phrase he used. It was like, just to imply that he just had absolute contempt for Eiji. Meanwhile, Ash is stuck in the hospital,
Yeah,
and
he's stuck, and they bring in a torture harem for him.
Oh god, yes, the fucking harem. It briefly turned into a harem anime where it's like 4 girls are fawning over him,
Yeah,
and
so
they bring in this. I mean, I I've been in the hospital before, and I've seen the things you gotta do when you can't get out of bed to go to the bathroom. I don't remember the pee jar being completely clear, like glass jar.
Well,
and
I just got the impression that these nurses were just not all there.
these nurses, you know, I think like, Max Lobo encompassed it when he came in later. He's like, he says something to the effect of "sucks being handsome, doesn't it?"
Yeah, like they just pop up, like the door's closed, so they like were hiding under his bed or something. What?
Or behind the curtain or some shit.
Well, I don't really know how to explain it, but Ash was just like, what the fuck is going on?
And then again, meanwhile, while that's going on, there's like the three dudes, like the general and the Republican and some other dude, I can't remember who he was, sitting there talking about like, ooh, you know, Golzine's on his way back and he wanted us to bring him in alive. But if he stays alive, these guys actually make sense. They're like, if this kid stays alive and things get out, our careers are over and we'll be in jail, so we need to kill him. So they hire an assassin.
These guys are leaps and bounds smarter than Golzine will ever be. Because Golzine, I don't understand how dumb he could be to just leave Ash around. So Ash takes an IQ test in this episode.
Oh no, it's a psychological exam.
Or, as I thought, a psychotic exam. So he takes the psychotic exam and gets an IQ score of 180, which puts him above like 99% of the population in the world. And
I love that scene where he spotted a bit of an error on the psychological exam.
Yeah, he started talking about the Fibonacci sequence, and they did that bit where he started talking really fast, and the guy was just listening to him. He's like, oh, he's just speaking gibberish to me. I don't understand. But they get that back, and you just have to contrast this with Golzine's plot of, yeah, we gotta keep this guy alive. He's definitely not a schemer, and he's not gonna try to murder me.
No, Golzine does not want to keep him alive indefinitely. Golzine wants to keep him alive so that he can torture him for a while before he can kill him himself.
This is still a stupid plan.
Yes, it is. It absolutely is.
It's just because he captured him earlier, and it went horribly wrong.
Oh, it did. And so the bad guys initially send an assassin who's a really tall chick.
Yeah, they send an assassin nurse.
And she tries to inject something in his IV, to which he just sort of wakes up and goes, "Hi, assassin." And they proceed to have an interesting fight. Where Ash, being the superhuman that he is, still recovering from a wound, like so many wounds and blood loss, is able to take her down.
Yeah, he gets her with like the rear naked choke and takes her out, and I guess she uses a pill or something to commit suicide.
Yeah, imagine it's probably like a cyanide pill that they assassins keep tucked away in their tooth or whatever.
I'm sure they all keep the cyanide pills.
Well, no, because you saw her. She did the thing where she just like crunched her teeth really hard, and you hear a crunch, and all of a sudden she keels over dead.
Well, it was a very bad plan to begin with because she was.
Oh yeah, the way he figured it out. I love the way he figured it out. He's like, Max, like, oh dude, I'm so impressed you figured that out so fast, and he's like, how did you know? Did she do something weird or whatever? Like, nah, it's because the way she smelled. He's like, oh, perfume. I was like, no, the lack of it. She didn't smell of anything. Which, any nurse will smell of, what is it, antiseptic, I think he said. It's like any actual nurse would smell of antiseptic, and she didn't smell like it at all. And like the first rule of being an assassin is to leave no trace or whatever.
So a lot of my family members are nurses, and this
Same here.
Does not make any sense to me.
I don't know.
What?
I don't know. That's show's logic. We just gotta go with it. So,
the manga is from the 1980s, so
granted,
I guess we just have to roll with that.
I will roll with that. So, the bad guys hatch another scheme, and they get Charlie and Chief off of the case by getting these other guys who are with the FBI, quote unquote. and they take over the case, and they transfer him to. They use the IQ test and the psychological exam that he took as grounds to take him to some kind of mental hospital.
The federal mental hospital, which I question if such a place even exists, but I'm just gonna go with 1980s comic logic.
We'll go with that. And I love it because he calls out bull shrimp on the whole thing on the way there. He's like, could you guys have made it 200
IQ?
Yeah, he's like, could you guys have made it even easier? You have such and such suits mixed with such and such ties and such shoes. You're not with the FBI. And they're like, damn, he's that smart. Oh, you figured us out.
Yeah, you got us, man.
Oh, well, too late, because you're tied up and blindfolded and we have control over you. Here's this doctor guy who's going to do his experiments and kill you. And then the next scene is everyone, looking at the news, and it's like, well-known gang leader Ash Lynx, dead in hospital. And everyone's like, oh, shit!
Yeah, I am completely devastated that they killed off Ash in the 14th episode.
I know! The first episode of the second half of the season. I'm totally buying this right now. Yeah. Oh, it was a good run. It was a good run.
Do you think he might get resurrected?
It's possible. Someone might have a Phoenix down.
All right, maybe that'll happen.
Maybe we could use the magical plot potion to bring him back to life.
Those work really well.
I know. I've heard plot potions are really good. So overall, it wasn't a hyper action-packed episode. It had the failed assassination attempt, which was fun to watch for how brief it was. But it just got us because at every turn they had to point out at how Ash is above average. He's not a normal human.
Yeah, he's superhuman, if you would say.
Yes.
So I'm sure we'll get another episode where he goes back into Rambo mode.
I would hope so.
Kills everybody. But this was just kind of a stripped back episode with a rear naked choke. So I will give it a rear naked choke out of 10.
I like it. I agree with it. So with that, we're going to go ahead and move on to...
And for the second show of this season, this week, we have Double Decker, which is turning out to be a pretty good comedy.
Yes, it is. So it just starts with Kirill being fired.
Yeah, he gets fired again because...
Instantly.
Travis apparently makes a mistake that he only had one slot open for a new hire, and he accidentally hired two people.
Yep.
So he has to let one of them go.
Yep.
But Kirill's able to convince him because Travis is dumb.
Well, what I love about it is Kirill thinks... I love the way the narrator describes it. It's Kirill instantly thinks, this is a test. This is a test. He has to pass a test. So he sets the terms of a test. He's like, okay, give me 1 week, and if I can't prove myself in that 1 week, then you can fire me. And then the narrator's like, and Kirill thought this was work because he's an idiot. And it cuts over to Travis, and he goes, it's a deal. And the narrator comes back and goes, because the boss is also an idiot.
So, yeah, the narrator is also, the greatest character ever.
Yes, he is. The opening credits, he comes in before them. He's like, this is the story of a girl, which is not actually a girl, it's a guy. And it's, who's part of a group of heroes. He says,
this is a story of this guy, who's a woman. No, I'm lying. It's actually a man.
And who works
makes up stuff on the fly.
Who works for a group of superheroes. I'm actually lying again. They're actually detectives paid for by the tax dollar. It's like, what the fuck?
It's just he's just making up everything as he goes along.
So, this episode is about Kirill really wanting to keep his job. He wants to prove himself, prove his worth in this job, and he can't do shit because there's not enough crime to prove it.
Well, it's also that they have a really narrow focus on what crimes they're supposed to be, researching.
The only crimes they're allowed to touch, period,
are the ones that involve Anthem.
Yes.
So, whenever that video game comes out, they're going to be having a lot of work.
Because I will be playing that. At least at first. We'll see what happens. So, how to describe this episode? Kirill is desperate to find crime. So he goes to, he's like drinking his problems away. He's depressed. He only has 2 days left. And he's like, oh, I need to find a problem. I need to find a crime. And he meets some old guy in the bar who's like, those who rush in often make the most crucial mistakes or something to that effect. Like some kind of Confucius saying. And he's like...
Yeah, so this show is just like making fun of tropes and everything.
Yeah.
Because they have the old guy in the bar giving the inspirational speech, and Kirill's like, thanks, guy that I've never met. And then like he just goes on and like never talks to this guy again.
He gets somehow from that, he gets the idea to go to this information broker he just suddenly remembered.
Yeah.
He's had 5 days to
He's had 5 days to go to this guy.
And he just now decides to go to him. And he trades booze for information about an Anthem thing. To which there's like some petty criminal like just got released. And he, instead of going straight, he's like, oh, count my blessings, I'm going to go straight. He goes right back to crime, and he's boasting openly about it. Which is like, brilliant move on your part, bud.
Mm-hmm.
But, so... He talks, veteran, what's his name?
Doug,
thank you. It's hard to remember because the subtitle says Doug, but Kirill is clearly not saying Doug.
I think it's because he says his last name, Billingham.
Oh, is that what he's saying?
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe, but it's like, so I keep forgetting. So he talks Doug into going, he's like, oh, it's totally going to be a raid, it's totally going to be an Anthem raid, and it's going to be bad. We got to do it. He's like, you trust the information? I totally trust the information. Okay. And they go, they raid the place, they open the doors, and it's monkeys.
Yeah, and I get the feeling that Doug and Kirill are not on the same page.
No.
Kirill's got this hot tip, and Doug's just sitting there going, yes, I understand.
He is Jeffrey personified from Review Starlight.
He's pulling the giraffe on us, and he just does this through the whole episode,
But it's
not being on the same page with Kirill.
But what's interesting is I like when they finally show what page he's actually on, because it's like there's a riot at a prison. Like one of these guards slips a prisoner some Anthem. And he causes a riot to happen.
Yeah, one of the prisoners, which looks like Jared Leto's Joker.
Yeah, it does actually.
So, I was kind of disturbed at this, and then you showed me a picture of
Joaquin Phoenix Joker.
Oh my god! So I got PTSD during this episode, and I blame Featherhoof. It's all his fault. But the Joker busts out, and because of the Anthem, and the Anthem is supposed to put them into overdrive and give them superpowers.
Well, everyone has a different superpower, whoever takes it.
But what does the Joker do? He's like, I'm gonna get really handsome.
That's it, but that's his overdrive, his ability to change his appearance.
And so this totally works. He knocks out some paramedic and gets out.
Yeah, he takes his clothes and he drives the ambulance out. But what I loved is that, because the entire episode, it looks like Doug is completely ignoring Kirill. Like he said, they're on totally different wavelengths. But the thing is that Doug has actually been calculating based on the tip that Kirill got.
Yeah.
And the escapees. He's like, these are one and the same. And he's like, I've been looking at them, I've been judging on the waves and currents of the river surrounding the prison where the prisoners would have swam from instead of trying to escape from on the road. And it's exactly where the monkeys
He's
were.
Just pulling like some Sherlock Holmes logic where
he absolutely
if you like
was.
read the stories and you're like, what?
But then it's like they find out that he's not there. The guy who's taking Anthem isn't there. So he's like, well, we can't touch it. Bye.
Yeah, he's like, we got to go. These are just small time crooks.
Yep.
We're not taking Anthem. Let the police deal with it.
Yep, he calls. Apparently, he insinuates he calls it in, but then just takes off. He's like, bye. And,
yeah. He's like, I called it in, but he did it.
Yeah, we never saw him call it in. So he somehow deduces that he found another way out and he used the ambulance. So they track down the ambulance and they check everyone inside, and everyone matches. Everyone's fine except they ask the driver, and the driver freaks out and starts running away. Driving away.
He doesn't freak out because Sherlock Holmes Doug is like, I figured out that you're this guy because you're too pretty.
Well, no.
He's like, oh shit, he's on to me.
He said, you know, for an ambulance driver, you're pretty handsome.
He's like, oh, he's on to me.
Well, no, yeah, at first he starts to sweat a little bit. Like, oh, so? He's like, can I see your identification? He's like, well, what do you need to see my identification for? He's like, and it's like suddenly he just freaks out and, you know, Doug says something, and then he just like freaks and runs. And they give a chase. It's a pretty cool car chase. It like actually was reminiscent of Men in Black a little bit. When they transformed the car.
But they have a DeLorean.
Well, it has DeLorean doors. I don't think it's necessarily DeLorean.
I don't care anything you say. It's a DeLorean.
Okay, so if he doesn't care, we'll move on. So they stop the car by fucking riding the side of buildings to then genesis themselves off it to land right in front of the ambulance, which instead of just plowing through this car that's like half the size of his ambulance,
yeah, so
he spins the wheel, which sends the top heavy ambulance sideways and skidding to a halt.
So all of these are done in CG, the car chase, all the cars, and I don't think it is bad, but you just like look at the ambulance and it looks like it's just so massive.
Yes.
And then they have their DeLorean out there, and I was thinking, you know, he's just gonna plow right through him, but he, like, wipes out, and I'm like,
why? Why did you?
This ambulance is just, it's got to be like 20 tons or something.
It looked like a double-decker bus. It honestly, that's how big it looked. And this tiny little DeLorean stopped, and the guy's like, ah! And then topples his own ambulance. It's like,
he just has a heart attack over it.
And he, like, while he, like, and then suddenly, like, Doug turns CG for some reason, and he starts walking towards
Goblin Slayer syndrome.
Starts walking towards the ambulance, and he starts talking about human evolution, and, like what Anthem does to people, and he can, you know, and compares it to evolution, because as the dude comes out of the ambulance, he's all kinds of mutated as fuck. He's like looks like Tyrant on steroids. He's like, help me! Oh my god! And like you see Doug's eyesight, and he sees the different phases, and that's what we see 4. Like the first time we've seen Phase 4.
Yeah.
So apparently,
whatever that is.
Phase 4 is when the overdrive is like gone so far as mutated fuckers. So and he shoots him. You know, he gets his bullet, and he shoots it, and he's like, time to take your medicine. Boom.
Fortunately, he's not a real tyrant. Otherwise, he would be impossible to put down.
Well, no, you need like 30 rockets. So,
well, whatever.
And yeah, so he takes him down. It was interesting. It was fun watching, because it was the whole episode. Like you said, it was like it's watching the relationship between these two characters of Doug and Kirill, who's, like you said, completely different wavelengths. Like, Kirill's super emotional, he's super in the moment, he's super hyper, whereas Doug is constantly calculating, constantly thinking about what's going on. It's very interesting to watch their interactions. And we learned a little bit about Kirill's past. He was an orphan, he had an older sister, she disappeared some 10 years ago.
I'm not going to be surprised if in the next episode the narrator's like, yeah, that was all just bullshit.
It might have been. And it was interesting how it sort of, Doug sort of like, he's like, there's one thing I want to eradicate in this world. And Kirill sort of ponders it for most of the episode. And then he comes out, like, I know what it is. Do you want to rid the world of Anthem? And he goes, no, that'd be impossible. How could I possibly do that? Oh, you want to rid the world of crime? He's like, no. You can't rid that, again, impossible. You know, one extra person helped me trying to get rid of crime wouldn't stop crime. He's like, well, what do you want to get rid of? He's like, I want to get rid of poverty and
class.
To which, you know,
Kirill's like, that's so cool.
Like, like, as he said each one, it showed how that related to Kirill's life specifically. Like how he grew up a poor orphan, you know, and it's like, You know, that's... And then
I mean, you can build the empathy off of that, but at the end of the day, I get the feeling that Kirill is just too dumb to make the connections himself. And that's why he said, that's so cool.
Well, no, it showed him making the connections, though.
It showed the audience make those connections.
I interpret it as it showed Kirill making
Okay,
those
we
connections.
have different interpretations then.
Okay, we will have our difference of opinion, Dan. We are on different pages here.
I'll never talk to you again.
And I will just have loud outbursts and scream at you all the time. So that was Double Decker in a nutshell. Oh, and he gets to keep his job because, literally, there's no. He's like, Kiro's like, oh, it's my last day. I better clear out my desk. He's like, okay, he's like, hey, Pink comes over. He's like, hey, the boss wants to see you. Goes in, and he's like, well, it was fun. And he's like, well, if we keep calling you Okapa, people are gonna think you were a girl. So here's your uniform, which makes him look even more like a character from a Tales game.
Yeah, he got his Tails uniform in this episode.
And we're gonna have to call you, Buzzcut. He's like, you're not firing me? He's like, why would I do that?
Yeah, so I looked up Okapa
Yeah?
between weeks, and apparently it's a kind of hairdo, which...
Oh, is it?
Yeah, I didn't look
Oh, wow.
farther than that, but...
So that's going to be the running joke. His name, he's going to keep getting different nicknames based off haircuts.
I don't know if that's going to be the thing, but...
We went from Perm to Okapa to Buzzcut. So I want the first frame in the next episode to show how Travis tried to get him to get a buzz cut.
Until he tries to, change him to Agent Pompadour.
Yes, or Ancient Bowl Cut.
Fucking bowl cut, man.
Agent Dreads.
Well, the only other thing I have to say about this episode is that I did like the ending. It's really simple, but I liked it, and I was getting the feeling that maybe they would focus on other characters going forward. So maybe they're gonna focus on Pink and the rookie, whatever haircut she's gonna be named after, and well, no, the other chick is named Robot,
Right.
so that's not a hairstyle.
Neither is Veteran.
So
I think it's just going to be a joke on Kirill.
and Doug doesn't even have a code name.
Veteran.
Oh, Veteran?
Yes.
I must have missed that.
Okay, so with that was episode 2. We enjoyed it, and we're going to go ahead and talk about the next anime on the list. And coming up next was Goblin Slayer, which I have something to say about Goblin Slayer. Because after we read Reddit postings and comments after the first episode, yes, this show had some pretty explicit scenes in it, some rapey scenes in it, but nowhere in it did it glorify rape. This thing was shown to be done by monsters and is a monstrous thing. It is an awful, awful thing. So people were giving us some horrible reviews because it was in it. I guess I could see how people could get triggered by it even existing in the show,
Well,
but
they did put a trigger warning at the...
and you can see that it must have bothered a lot of people because the beginning of this episode, boom, at the top of the screen was like this big old trigger warning. And they actually did pull back a little bit this episode. They pulled their punches.
Well, this is Goblin Slayer, and he slayed some goblins. So,
Yeah.
Are we done with this episode?
Well, it starts off with a little boy and a little girl arguing, and that little girl's going to go to a city with some relatives, and she's going to I got some money for mom and dad, and I can buy stuff while I'm there. Well, I've never had money to buy stuff before. I should buy you something. You want something? And he's like, I don't want anything. And she's like, what? He's like, why are you being so mean? He's like, I'm not being mean. Shut up. And this the little girl's older sister, I'm assuming,
It's a little boy's older sister.
That's the little boy's older sister? Okay.
Yeah.
He's like, why are you two fighting? And he's like, we're not fighting, no. It's like, okay. She goes on a thing with some relatives, leaves the city, and the guy who's, I guess her uncle or whatever, I'm assuming this.
It is her uncle.
Okay.
Because they do flash forward.
Okay. Is his name just Uncle?
There may be a compelling case to put forward that his name is Uncle.
In this world. So Uncle is just like, were you two fighting? He's like, yeah. He's like, did you make up with him? And she didn't say anything. Like, well, you better make up with him when you get back. And then it's like sort of hard flash forwards to like the present time. She's like an adult and nude. And she's like, has a cinema like, yeah, what did she say? Like, I had a hard time trying to do it, trying to make up with him back then. I even have a hard enough time doing that even now.
Yeah, so it's hard for her to say sorry because this was Goblin Slayer and his childhood friend, Cowgirl, which they never actually say in the episode.
Oh, what's her name?
Cowgirl.
Oh, that's her name in the manga?
She's a farm girl, and therefore she gets the name Cowgirl. And
it could also be an illusion because it's like a popular anime slur for women with big bazongas, and she was popping out everywhere.
Well, so she's gifted, but she's Cowgirl because she's a farm girl.
Okay, we'll go with that explanation too. But so I guess that's where Goblin Slayer lives, is with her and her uncle, and he spends every morning like going over the whole house, like looking for goblin tracks.
You don't say that Goblin Slayer would be looking for goblins.
Yeah. And everywhere he goes. And he goes back to the guild and everyone's like, "Oh, look at that guy. Is he really a silver? I've never seen a silver rank with such a disgusting armor."
Yeah, the other silver ranks are just like pinching their nose and looking down on him.
Like, oh, Goblin Slayer.
Even the lower ranks are like, "Man, our equipment's better than his."
Yeah. Oh man, so they put up the postings for all the things. You see people like, "Oh, I want that job. Oh, that job's. Oh man, that job doesn't pay very well, even though it's this, that, and the other. Oh man, porcelain jobs never pay well." Yeah, but people either griping or trying to get the best jobs. People forming groups, and Goblin Slayer just waits. He's just sitting at his table waiting. And Cowgirl comes in and she's like, "Oh, it's true. Nobody wants Goblin Slaying jobs because nobody goes after him." And by the time everyone's left, he comes up and he's like, "How many Goblin Slaying jobs?" "Oh, there's 3. And Priestess shows up, and they it's like, "What are the 3?" She like calls them out. It's like, "Did anyone else take any Goblin Slaying jobs?" It's like, "Oh, there was a group of 3 that took the one where they're at the river or wherever." What were their classes or whatever? Like what was the party made up of? A mage, a fighter, and a priest. It's like, good makeup. They might survive.
So, in the first episode, we have a fighter, a monk, a priest, and a mage.
Yes.
Which is a stronger party than the one that he says, good makeup.
Well, I think he was also, but I think he was also, I think he was thinking in other aspects, like also because it was out in the open, it was out by a river, as opposed to into a deep cave where they would have been cramped and everything, and so I think he took all of like the factors into effect on that determination, because Priestess was all about, we need to go help them. My like Kisa said, she pointed out too. They're weaker than us. What do you mean they'll be fine? He's like, they'll be fine. I want to go destroy the ones over at the fortress.
He's like, if you want to go help them, you can go do that. But I have a hate boner for these guys.
Yes. So they go to the fortress. They show. This is the most scene. Well, possibly one of the most. I'd say. Well, no, second most graphic scene in the episode, where you see the party who went before them, and they're already. Let's just say they've already been used up, because they don't actually show them doing the act, but it shows people being burned at the stake and laying dead on the ground, or at least they have dead eyes. I don't know if they're actually dead or not. But they show it very briefly, and they try to censor certain bits. So,
well, this is based off of a light novel. So there's a light novel and a manga adaptation.
Okay.
I did read the manga up to chapter 4, which covers all of what happened in this episode, basically. And they did cut some parts out of the manga, but in the light novel, those parts are not there. So
I see.
I did tell him about it, and that there's probably going to be some outrage, but they didn't show that because
They alluded to it though.
They did allude to it.
And then they showed brief glimpses.
But in the manga, this group of all-female adventurers goes into the fortress, and they're pretty high ranked, but their tank gets knocked out by a goblin who has a sling because she's not wearing a helmet.
Oops!
And that causes a complete party wipe.
TPK. So, he, instead of going in there, now that he begins to tell his backstory, and this is where the graphic scene comes in. He begins to tell the backstory of, without saying that it was him, he talks about, like, imagine if everyone you knew and loved was destroyed by goblins, and he goes on this, it's like a what-if story, but he's talking about his life, because it shows flashbacks to a little boy who had to watch his sister from underneath the floorboards, the kind sister at the beginning of the episode, being drugged after she was, like, stabbed a bunch of times to go be goblin raped. And, he was forced, having to hold his breath so he wouldn't have to make any noise. Have to sit there and watch the whole thing from underneath. And, he's like, how would you feel? How would you feel about these creatures afterwards? And then what would happen if that person went on to make it their life's mission, their career, to go and kill goblins wherever they were? Would that make that person a goblin to the goblins?
He just says, I am the goblin to these guys. Because, I'm going around murdering them.
And he's, like, making all these fire arrows that he keeps sticking in the ground. And he just...
Yeah, so instead of going into the fortress to rescue everybody, since Goblin Slayer is like, yeah, they're all dead, and that would be too much work. Better just burn the whole goddamn thing down.
Yes. He's got some strength in those arms, because he's firing fire arrows through bad guys. Like, they're going through them. And then into the place to set the place on fire. And, it's like, so the place he's just, ba-doo, 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 just constantly fire after fire after fire arrow, until the whole fort is ablaze. And the goblins are trying to run out through the front door. And he commands Priestess to use her new miracle spell to cast barrier on the door. To keep them from getting out.
Gets protected by a holy protection spell or whatever, and the goblins can't get through it. So, nice knowing them, because they're just they get immolated, and there's no hope for the goblins.
I love the one goblin who got out. The one who got out before the protection spell went up. He turns around like,
oh no, that's terrible.
Turns around to run.
Arrow to the face.
This guy's almost as good as Ash Lynx with his headshots.
This goblin was a Skyrim adventurer until he took an arrow to the face.
So we actually get to sit there and watch all these goblins being immolated alive. And, which is kind of graphic. I mean, they don't show any blood or nothing, but we got to watch their skin turn to ash. And then it, like, briefly shows, like, how the adventurers who went to the river to slay goblins got back alive, but barely.
A porcelain-ranked group came back alive instead of getting horribly murdered this time.
Yeah, like, you hear, like, Goblin Slayer talk about it, like, sometimes some people get lucky, but then there's some people who become adventurers because they think, and he's quoting the fighter from the first episode, because I, scared one goblin away, they suddenly get it in their head that they're suddenly, big and badass, and they can fight goblins, and become, and they end up becoming adventurers until they come across their first real fight and get their asses killed. But then sometimes...
Who are low-level goblins.
Yes. But then he's like, but sometimes they come out of it. Sometimes they make it through, but then it's like, oh, some people do survive in this world. Yeah!
And another thing about this episode is that our titular character, the Goblin Slayer, is a man of many words.
Yes, he is. He's
Before he goes on to this monologue about, how I'm murdering goblins because of my tragic backstory, he's just like, yeah, okay,
Remember Cowgirl will talk to him, yeah.
Yeah, Cowgirl, his childhood friend, who apparently has a thing for him.
Yeah.
As well as Guild Girl, because her eyes and her expression just light up every time he comes into the guild because he kills goblins and she loves him for that.
Apparently.
And Cowgirl loves him because he's a childhood friend. And the uncle is like, you better not waste time on him because he's insane. Anybody who hates goblins that much, insane.
And she's like, I'll wait for him anyway. It's like, okay. So that was pretty much it. It was just like the show was called Goblin Slayer. The episode was called Goblin Slayer. We watched a lot of goblin slaying. Well, we got a lot of backstory into Goblin Slayer. So we don't have to spend like the rest of the series, getting to know the Goblin Slayer. It's like, oh, laid out. We got it.
I really like shows that are, straight to the point.
Yeah, but it looks like the series might be taking a twist, though. There might not be as much goblin slaying because a group of an elf, an old man, and a dragonborn are apparently looking for him. Yeah.
Yeah, so we get this epic song from a bard at the end of the episode after the credits about how the Goblin Slayer slew goblins.
Yep.
And they're like, the elf archer is like, does this Goblin Slayer actually exist? So obviously they're looking for him to slay goblins.
Yeah, maybe. You never know. They might need him to slay, orcs or something.
But would he get his ass kicked by something that's not a goblin just because he's very focused on goblins? And
But what if he pretended that what he was fighting was a goblin?
that's very meta.
It could be. Remember, according to Uncle, he is insane. So
This dragon is a goblin, therefore I have a +5 battle axe and
well, he doesn't even have a single plus anything weapon. He gets. Once you describe me, like, he's the kind of guy who just fights trash weapons.
He's a ranger with the favorite enemy of goblins.
Yeah.
So he's getting all these bonuses, and he doesn't need an enchanted weapon to lay the smackdown on them.
Okay. So, yeah, it looks like we're introducing some new characters. Like I said, we got it looks like an elf archer, a dragonborn cleric, and an old man.
An old man.
Class old man. Probably mage, I would gather. But, yeah, they're entering the story, and we'll get to see them next episode, but that's next episode. For now, we have more episodes to talk about that came from this week, so we're going to move right on to those.
And we finally get to the world of colors.
Very colorful. It was very colorful.
Yeah, it was. You know what? I don't think they showed a single black and white scene in this episode.
They did. There's a couple where because our main character Hitomi, she's still doing her Shinji impersonation, and every time
she said Shinji in this episode. She said it, and I made a specific note about that.
She's still doing her Shinji impersonation where she's walking around being depressed.
I hate magic.
Why do you hate magic, Hitomi? I hate magic. No, that was your statement. What's the reason behind your statement? I hate magic.
Yeah, they still not have explained why she hates magic.
But
this is a mystery.
It is a mystery.
So we need Doug from Double Decker to clue us in on this one.
He might be able to. So, what happened this episode? What was the premise here?
The premise is that Hitomi has not gotten over seeing this artwork from Aoi.
She's obsessed.
She's straight up obsessed, and she goes into stalker mode because her main mission and goal in life
is to see those
colors
again. At least
in this episode, and maybe in future episodes, is to see this color painting picture, whatever that Aoi did, and she is not going to relent until he shows her that picture again.
So she gets enrolled in the school that her grandmother Hirako,
Sure.
she would normally be in, and when she gets there, I love it. Everyone's like, "Shit, she's a mage! Fuck, get away!"
Yeah, so her grandmother, who she is not actually that person, because they show us a picture of her grandmother.
Yes, and people who had that
they
theory.
Are two different people.
Yeah, people who thought that Hitomi was actually her own grandmother. You're wrong. You're absolutely wrong.
But in the school, her grandmother has a reputation because with her experimentation on magic, she just blows shit up all the time.
When she enrolls in the school, they specifically made a new type of ordinance specifically for mages because of Hitomi's grandmother.
I don't think that they say that she's a bad mage. They just say that she blows everything up and causes a lot of trouble.
Yeah, what was it? It's like she was like, well, we just need you to sign this one piece of paper, and she like reads like the damages caused by Magic Act or whatever the fuck she said it was. It's like, oh, it's nothing really. It's just poor whatever her name, her grandmother's mother, whatever her name was. Like, she's in here every other week having to apologize for Hiraku's experimentations. Just in case you happen to set off a firework or flood the auditorium or blast a hole in the wall. Just standard procedure. It's like, really? That's standard procedure now?
I can't wait until this character is actually introduced.
I know! I cannot wait for that, because it's like, I want to see the kind of shit happen. That sounds like fun.
Like, don't totally just keep her off screen and never introduce her, because it sounds like she would be a blast.
But, so, Hitomi's going around the school, she's in school, and she's shinjing it up, and,
I hate magic.
Yeah, like, she's like, what was it? Aoi's like, I'll only believe, nobody believes that you're not my girlfriend, and that the only reason you showed up in my house was because of a mistake with magic. So you need to do magic to prove to everyone that you didn't, break into my house.
Yeah, so a great running theme of this episode is...
I hate magic.
Other than, I hate magic and I'm not doing it. Is that everybody thinks that Aoi and Hitomi are a couple.
Do you think they'll be a couple by the end of it?
I don't know, maybe they... Nah, I couldn't be.
No, they couldn't be setting that up so hard that it'll totally happen by the end.
There's no way that they'll be a couple.
No such thing as self-fulfilling prophecy ever, no.
By the end of the series, she will still hate magic.
No, of course. But, so she tries to do magic to prove that it was a magical mishap. She tries to create a star, and it fails. It's like...
And everybody's like, "Get lost, loser."
Yeah, we could do that with the magic we bought, and it's better. And they use magical dust to do it, whereas apparently she has the ability to just do it. So she gets introduced to the photography club, and I guess they're trying to indoctrinate her into the club. I don't think she's actually told anyone that she has monochromacy or whatever that fucking disease is called.
Achromatip, blah blah blah, whatever it is.
That she only sees in black and white. No one actually knows that she only sees in black and white. But they're like, hey, you should be part of our club, and here's the club members, and here's us, and we'll all be your friends. So don't you worry about nothing. And they all like, come on, we're gonna. I love this. Like, we're gonna go out and wander, under the excuse of calling it extracurricular activity.
Yeah, they're just like, we're just gonna make this excuse and everybody's gonna buy it.
Yeah, we're a photography club, but it's just we're wandering around taking pictures of shit we like and we call it extracurricular. So you want to come with us, Hitomi? He's like, no. Where's Aoi usually at this time of day? And it's just like, oh, he's usually here, but no, he's probably drawing on the roof. So you want to come with us? Oh, no, I don't. I got things to do that totally have nothing to do with Aoi. So don't think it has anything to do with Aoi. Like, okay, we won't. And they go off and do their own thing. To which she goes up to the roof to find out.
Wait, where did she go?
To the roof to find out.
Are you okay?
Oh, gosh, shut up. His name, I hate his fucking name. But, A-O-I. Seriously, Aoi? Every time they say his name, I have a hard time picking it out. I don't hear them saying Aoi, but... So
anyway, Stalker Girl goes to the top of the roof.
Stalker Girl stalks.
Stalker Girl stalks.
And
Hitomi goes up to the roof to find Aoi, and she's like, "Show me the picture."
she's like, I'm sorry I couldn't produce magic. I just look. You know, more than anything, I really want to see your picture. You know. What was it? She's like, I'll produce magic for you if you show me the picture or something to that effect.
Yeah, she's like, I promise I'll practice magic and show you that I can do it.
Oh, that's what it was. Yeah.
If you just show me your picture. And he's like, I guess shy about it or something. He's
yeah,
like, I don't want to.
He doesn't
want to show anybody my pictures.
Yeah, he doesn't like showing people his artwork. So he's like, you know what? Fine. For you, you can see it. He hands her his tablet. Only this time we don't get the hallucinatory, awesome, artistic scene.
Yeah, it's kind of like a private moment for her or something.
They play the music. The music that played when she was having her hallucinatory scene happened. But she just
looks at it and she's like, "Oh, that's great. That's the best stuff ever."
Well, it's weird because like the most expression change she had is just she got a smile. It wasn't like before where she was just like, "Oh my god!" This time it's just sort of. So it's making me wonder if she actually did see color or not, because they didn't point it out whether she did or not. It's just like I said, she didn't have the same reaction this time.
Very ambiguous scene here.
So it's very interesting, but the next scene...
You know what? I'm going to say that she did, because she does go back later on and starts practicing the magic.
She did,
so
yeah.
I'm just going to assume that she did, and that it was the best thing ever.
Maybe. And that's where it ends. It ends with she's in the middle of the locker room, not locker room, but the place where they keep their shoes. You know, the little lockers for the shoes. She's in there, and she's making like a bajillion stars come out of her hands. She's just trying really hard. These little stars, instead of doing like the effect like the little girl did earlier with the powder, they're like there's like a shower of like tiny stars that just keep falling to the ground, and she's looking like very concentrating the. And like one of the photography club people like walks by and like sort of like
he sees
her do it, and it's like, oh, we got more stalkers, do we?
So you're telling me that the stalker is being stalked?
I think so. So she doesn't like magic, but she made a promise, and now she's gonna have to do it. So that's where the episode ends. So it's a really, I can't speak for you, so I'm not gonna try to. I'm really enjoying this. I like the mystery behind it.
I'm enjoying this, and I want them to introduce the grandmother character.
I do. I really want that. But I'm really liking. They're not pushing. Like a lot of times you'll see, and we're making the joke about like, oh, are they? Gee, I wonder if they're gonna end up together. Obviously they are, but I like that they're not really pushing it. They're actually kind of naturally letting a little bit of a relationship between the two sort of grow.
Well, they're obviously going to end up together, and it's going to be the greatest love story ever.
But I mean, I think it's going to turn out to be another tragedy, though. Because remember, she is still trying to find a way back to her own time. Because even though the last episode says they specifically said, at least the translations did, that there's no way to reverse the time spell. This episode, she's like, I need to find a way to reverse the time spell. It's like, okay. So I think by the end, maybe they will have formed a relationship, and then she's going to give him the choice to go back to the future or not.
As a criminal.
No, she paid for it. She paid for the ride in Pocky.
But what if she forgets to take Pocky, and the guy gets super offended?
Or what if she brings Pocky and it's not the same guy?
That just got dark. Other than that, I really like the opening and ending, and I'm really looking forward to the great love story that we're being presented with of Stalker Girl stalking this guy.
I'm looking more forward to trying to solve the mystery of why she hates magic so much. They've not explained it, and why she has, the black and white vision. Because I think that those are linked in some way. That's why she hates it so much.
Dear God, I hope it's not because of her father.
Yeah, we never even got introduced to her parents at all. We only got to see her grandmother in the future. So we'll see what happens. We will see what happens in future episodes. But for now, let's talk about our final anime of the week. And finally, our last anime for the week is Zombieland Saga, which what did we watch? What the fuck did we watch?
We watched Zombieland Saga.
Yeah, that's about all you can really say about it. So, all the legendary zombie girls are now awoken, and he's what's the dude's name?
It's like Tatsumi something.
I say Tatsu for short.
He's the producer.
The producer, okay. Producer is, the same way he introduced his plan to Sakura, or zombie number 1 in the last episode, he's doing it to all the other zombies now. He's like, his great master plan, and all of them are like, this
really
is stupid.
Yeah, they're really stupid. They're like, this is really stupid. We're not interested. And Yamada Tai has not awakened. She's still very zombie-like.
And she has this one, like, there's one other zombie that she's obsessed with biting for some reason.
And producer dude is like, I don't really care how you feel about this. My plan is awesome, and I'm going to scream at you, and you're gonna like it.
It's like, if he's like, we don't want to do it. It's like, you don't have a choice because you're zombies, and there's no place for zombies in today's modern society. Here's my 5 points presentation of what happens to zombies in the real world. And here's this video.
He shows him like one of those government videos of like duck and cover.
But it's like, it's like a whole 20 seconds long, and each one's like about 4 seconds of what, different ways to kill a zombie.
And he's like, there you go, you're not safe in this world.
So you have to be with me, and if you're being with me, that means you have to do what I say. So, 2 of them try to escape.
Yeah, the 2 idols.
Yep.
Whatever their names were. Ai-chan is the one with the black hair,
right?
And then whatever the other one was.
Yeah, the white hair one that Tai always is constantly trying to eat.
Yeah, so they both try to escape, and Sakura's like, you can't go out there, I got shot. And I guess it's a good reason. She was being a good friend because, well, she does go with them as they're trying to escape, but she's trying to convince them that it's a bad idea. And they turn down an alley, and some dudes show up, and they're trying to pick up chicks by rapping.
Yeah, they're freestyle rapping at them and beatboxing.
About how much they like girls.
Yeah, it's so bad. It's just so stupid.
I disagree with you. I loved it. I loved every minute of this.
I wanted those 3 to die so bad. But
they go around the corner.
Oh God, no!
And the cop from the first episode spots them.
And starts rapping.
And then the 3 guys come around the corner, and they're still rapping about how they want to pick up chicks. And the cop comes down the alley, and he's rapping about how he wants to arrest them.
And he comes out, he sees the 3 girls, and they turn around, they come into the light, and he recognizes the Sakura.
He's like, not you again!
And starts firing wildly. And
everybody starts screaming.
And they run back to Spencer Mansion. And I guess like a lot of the episode has to do with Sakura having like Saki having a bit of beef with Sakura.
Yeah,
the biker leader.
She was a biker leader, and she's got a real attitude on her.
Yep.
And she doesn't like Sakura because she thinks the whole idol thing is stupid, and she doesn't get why Sakura is really into it, even though that's what Sakura wanted to do before she died horribly.
But she doesn't remember that.
She doesn't remember it, but she kind of remembers it.
So those 2, like, they're Saki's constantly getting her in her face the whole episode, and the 2 former idols, they're pulling their own interpretation of Shinji. They're being all depressed and shit, not wanting to do anything.
We don't want to do this. Being an idol sucks. And Saki does tell Sakura, we've been dead for a really long time, and your Tamagotchi's probably dead by this point.
Oh, Saki was lamenting the fact, like, my Tamagotchi's probably dead by now.
What? This is stupid, man. My Tamagotchi's got to be dead by now.
So, the producer, I guess, them a gig at an old folks' home. Why? I don't know. But it's like the metalheads from the last episode show up for the show.
So I wonder if these metalheads are going to follow them to each concert they do.
I hope so. I hope so.
They're death metal fans, and they were going here to see them because they thought they were still going to do death metal because they were still under the name Death Musume on the
sign
card or whatever. But producer guy's like, no, I think you need a name change. You guys are Greenface now.
Yes. So they go out there to perform as Greenface, and it starts off very terribly. Yamato Tai isn't even paying attention to what Sakura. She's trying to do her intro, and trying to get things started with clapping and this, that, and the other. Little music plays, and Tai notices an old man in the front row eating fried calamari, and she wants that fucking fried calamari. But Sakura thinks that she's going to go zombie on them, so she tries to hold her back until her arm pops off, and she falls over and her head falls off, and she tries to like. It's like, oh, no, it's all a trick, it's all magic, it's a trick, oh, we're not zombies, no. And they're like, oh, the audience being retarded, apparently, is all like, oh, good trick, oh, wow, it's a really good trick.
Yeah, they're like completely oblivious, and she just convinces them, I guess she's got like a maxed out charisma score or whatever. She's the only one up there that's really into this idol thing, and everybody else is just standing around, and she's trying to put Yamada's head back on.
Saki keeps taking
it off, and she gets really angry at Saki over this and just swats the head away.
Oh, I love the slow-mo on it because it showed Tai's face as the hand slaps her really hard to square in the face. It's just like,
and then Sakura and Saki launch into an epic rap battle.
I mean, I was waiting for it to like stop for a second just so we can hear that guy. He's like, zombie number one versus Saki begin.
They're sitting there rapping between each other, just freestyle rapping with no music going on.
It's a producer guy.
The producer, you just see him in the background, and he pulls a mic up to his face and just starts beatboxing.
And they have a legitimate argument in rap form, and it turns into a song, and everyone in the audience, even the other idols, start getting into it. Like the little one, Lily. She's like, I want to get in on this too, and she like gets in front of the crowd and gets everyone to start clapping to it, to the beat.
And then we have Yugiri. She starts playing the whatever that was. To do some accompanying music.
Oh, and everyone's watching, going, yo.
Yeah. I really enjoyed this because this is the first rap song I've heard in a long time that was not about blasting your homie, fucking hoes, and doing drugs.
It was about keeping their identity as zombies fucking secret. And you two over there, you were idols once too. You need to get the fuck into this. And you old people, you need to
tell the old people to go fuck each other.
Don't listen to people telling you these are your golden years. Get out there and do shit.
No, she literally told them to go and have sex with each other.
Did she? I must have missed that lyric.
She said "go screw," which was supposed to rhyme with her. Credits out to the guy that translated this too, because he made all the lines, him or her made all the lines rhyme and stuff.
Yes,
like it was a legitimate legitimate rap lyrics.
Yes, and it was really, really good. It was so fucking funny. Even the metalheads were all like, "This is amazing! Oh my god!"
Like they're impressed by everything, and oh, I really did the way her head came off. It was so great.
So they actually had a successful performance that didn't end in tragedy. And they get back, and Saki has to have the last word. She has to like, you do got guts. Even though it does kind of suck that I'm a zombie now, and my Tamagotchi's probably long since dead. She has to bring it up again. She's just lamenting the fact that her Tamagotchi is dead.
Yeah, during the rap battle, too, she told Sakura, your Tamagotchi's dead. Like, come on.
So, there was a lot of talk about Tamagotchis for some reason, but I loved it. So, what did they say was the next thing they were going to poke fun at? Oh, they didn't really. They just said the next one was called Dead or Alive.
Yeah, the Dead or Alive? What?
So I don't. It looked like they were like. It looks like they were on a beach almost. So I don't know. I wonder if they're going to make fun of Dead or Alive beach volleyball.
I'm gonna have to see the next episode because I don't know what to expect out of this series. It's way more entertaining than it has any right to be.
Yes.
And I that producer guy.
He's my hero.
Just the way he
He's
yells all
hero.
the time and
He's so fun.
goes out there and starts beatboxing. Like, this guy's just completely insane.
I know, he's so fucking fun.
But I approve of his plan. Yes.
His plan?
His plan, which is not a plan, but it's a plan. It's great entertainment. So I'm totally behind whatever is going on in his head.
So yeah, Zombieland Saga. Like I said, we got bait and switched.
Hard.
And we, just like Josh and Sean, we got bait and switched, and we are loving it. I hope they keep up the momentum. I really, really hope they keep up the momentum.
So in the opening, I did post this to you before the episode actually aired because this airs on Wednesdays and we don't watch them during the week.
No.
But during that, the producer does some Michael Jackson moves of moonwalking.
This is true.
So I'm keeping out hope right now for the Thriller episode.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. But for now, guys, that's the 5 anime this week. That's what we watched. That's what happened. And we're going to have to end it here. And that's the end of week 2. Luckily, your predictions for this season have proven to be completely wrong.
Yeah, I had a bout of fake news at the beginning of summer.
So this is turning out to be a fantastic season so far. We're having a good time. There's not a single anime where we're going, oh, maybe we shouldn't have started that one. But,
yeah, there's a certain show that's still going on that just makes me, before we started this, I vomited because I thought about it. And Featherhoof was really concerned. He was like, are you okay, man?
It's like, what, did you see Angels of Death again? And he had to vomit some more, so... So, yeah, that's week 2. We had a lot of fun. It was, again, another week we couldn't rank it. Because they all were good in their own right.
I really hope it keeps up this pace because I'd rather watch a bunch of animes that I really like rather than animes that I'd have to drop.
Agreed. Absolutely agreed. But before we go, CarnagePanda does have one other thing he'd like to plug before we head out. Floor is yours.
Yeah, so I finally got my books ready. They're up to be, bought or whatever. I don't know how that works, but you can go to Amazon. There's going to be links in the description below, and they're ready. I edited them, everything, worked with an editor, and they're beautiful.
Self-published?
Yeah, self-published because it's a lot easier to get out that way. You have to wait like a year or so to actually get them out if you don't self-publish, and it's a lot of work.
All right, so I'll have the links for you guys in the description below. Take a look at those if you want. Also, if you enjoyed this episode, please let us know with a like, comment, subscribe, share it, or you can click on the annotations for other videos we've done. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you all next time.